Well, law enforcement has been placed under the microscope in recent months with incidents across the country that have led to many questions regarding a variety of topics, including hiring. Joining us this morning is local Assemblyman Rudy Salas, who introduced a bill that would help crack down on so-called bad cops. He joins us live Zoom. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
First of all, Rudy, can you start off by just telling us what you were hoping to accomplish with this bill?
No, absolutely. When we crafted Assembly Bill 1299, we really wanted to get after those bad actors, those bad cops, right? Because what we found out was a lot of times when these bad cops are hired, it's the police department that brought them in, or the community that brought them in, doesn't even know about their past. Because a lot of times what they'll do is if they see themselves getting in trouble, they'll resign. And when they resign, the case was never actually investigated all the way through. And so this bill will say, no, you got to finish that investigation, and you have to hand that information over if you're going to try to go into a new community, into a new police department, so that they know exactly what they're getting, and assume all that liability. And so we found that there's definitely a flaw there. We wanted to bring more transparency. We wanted to make sure that people had the information about this individual. So if somebody had a checkered past about tampering with evidence or sexual assault or any of those types of things, then a police department knows exactly what they're getting. Or because right now what we're hearing from a lot of different police departments up and down the entire state is that they don't even have this information to make these decisions. And so this bill, as it's crafted, will get at the heart of that problem and will actually help address it, to bring that transparency, to hold cops accountable for their past.
One of the communities that's within your district, of course, is McFarland. And I believe the number was about a dozen officers that had some past. Were you surprised when you found that out?
I was very surprised when I learned about the city of McFarland, and they had, I believe it was 13 officers with questionable backgrounds or histories from their previous departments. And so that's information I wish they would have had to make sure that they were hiring the right people, right, for our community. And I think that's why you see a bunch of the problems that we see in the city of McFarland with their police department is, we need to make sure that we're hiring the right caliber of officers. They have the public trust, and with the public trust comes a lot of responsibility. And so we need to make sure that we're hiring individuals that are going to do the best that they can for our communities, and not bring some of the problems that they've had in other police departments with them into our area.
First step in a much bigger area there. I'd also like to touch on, if you could real quickly, with the governor's latest move announcement yesterday, shutting back down a number of businesses, including restaurants, to the dine-in service. First, did that catch you off guard at all? Did you see it coming? And has he reached out to you and other members of the legislature in order to get some input?
Yeah, a lot of that is being determined by the California Department of Public Health. I know the governor is working with them, and he's been in communication, or my office has been in communication with his as well. We didn't know exactly what he was going to do, but now it's kind of a reversion back into stage 2 because of the numbers the way that they are. What we're asking for from our office anyways is saying, well, show us the accountability for that. How are you making this determination? What numbers are you looking at? Because we know we have certain hot spots at whether it's a nursing home or whatnot, but how does that expose the entire public? And we just want to understand that logic a little bit better. Obviously, I think the lines of communication can always be improved with the governor and with his administration. But, I think most people just want to know, okay, what are the criteria that you're using to determine whether or not you're actually closing some of our businesses and some of our restaurants. And so I think with that clarity, then we'll understand, okay, moving forward, this is the goals that we need to meet in order to make sure that the public is safe, but also what the landscape looks like moving forward.
Real quick, and we're out of time, but I need to ask you this. Do you think that Kern County is being treated fairly as far as how it's being determined by the governor, whether or not we should close or remain open?
That's something that we keep asking them, is we want to make sure that we're not being singled out for any specific reason. I know that there's, I believe, 17 counties that are affected with this latest order. So we've been in communication with them, but we want to again understand the criteria that he's using moving forward, because we don't want to don't want to feel like we're unduly being targeted as well because of a certain hotspot or a certain incident. In many cases, that of a flare up, but we don't think everybody should be punished for that.
Very good. Assemblyman Rudy Salas, thank you for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Danielle?